Hello YouTube! Hello! And you're back again, of course. Of course we are. And today we're going to be talking about labbing. The first part of it anyway, when it comes to movement, because labbing can be very complicated. But yeah, now let's talk about how to lab in general, right? When it comes to movement anyway. But first, it's very important that if you're new to movement in general, I already said in general, like twice, whatever. If you're new to movement, you have to understand that you will not be good at instantly, right? And you have to randomly sidestep sometimes just to get the feel of it. Now, when that happens, I think one of the best ways to do it is utilize what we'll call a sidestep chart. So I'm gonna show it on screen. This is what you would call a sidestep chart, right? It already tells you which character can be stepped which side. So this, by the way, is not that accurate. It won't help you higher levels, like on the higher levels of the game, higher ranks. It won't help you that much because there are always homing moves and moves that track the other side. But this is a very good starting point. If you're just starting to understand sidesteps or want to sidestep, start with this. When sidestep left, you know, SSL means sidestep left, sidestep right means SSR means sidestep right. And for Horang, who's a, I don't know, unique guy, whatever, right? SSC means sidestep to his chest direction. I know, Horang's complicated like that. But yeah, this sidestep chart was made by a guy, I think, Zerdi. Full credits to him. Amazing, whoever makes something like this. I'll post this chart on my description as well, so you guys can check it out. So yeah, he also explains why someone sidestep left, sidestep right. So yeah, 100% check it out. But if you're first starting, that's going to be a good starting point, like sidestep right, sidestep left, sidestep right or left, depending on the character. Great starting point. Okay, but how about if you want to go a little bit deeper, you know, understand how labbing actually works, outside of just someone telling you, oh, just sidestep this character to the right, and you just randomly get hit by something, because it can happen. Now, in Tekken, this is important. Steps happen by move basis. So you step something depending on what you want to step. For example, if you want to step Kazuya's down forward 1, you step a certain direction. If you want to step this move, which is down forward 4, you step another direction. Or depending, right? You can check stuff like that yourself. But when it comes to stepping in a neutral, it's different from stepping after a move, right? If stepping in a neutral, you can actually use that sidestep chart a little bit more. It will be useful. But when it comes to stepping moves, for example, if you block something and you want to step afterwards, this is when excuse me. This is when this kind of stuff will be useful. For example, okay, and before we start, by the way, there are two kinds of labbing you can do in general in practice mode. One is defensive labbing, the second is offensive labbing. So offensive labbing is when you want to understand your gaps in your offense and make it better, let's say, right? The defensive labbing is where you understand the gaps of your opponent's offense and take advantage of it. So that's very important. In general, both of them are very important because you want your offense to be good, your defense to be good. But okay, let's start with defensive labbing first. So let's say you want to know what to do against the Dragunov when it does this sequence, right? While running 2 into down forward 1. You just want to know what you can do because you keep pressing buttons. Let's say you keep pressing something, but it just doesn't work. Like, buttons just don't work. So when you know that buttons don't work, I'm going to explain this a little bit later as well, you have to try out movement. Right, now how do you do that? So when you block something, immediately try out one side sidestep, for example, sidestepping to the right, this way, right? Sidestep right, and try sidestep to the left. And this way you'll find out, oh, this move is actually weak. Just sidestep to the left. And now you know, oh, I can just do this, sidestep to the left, if you do it correctly, and maybe launch. You know, if you play a character like Kazuya, you have to practice doing an electric after a sidestep. Kazuya problems and Mishima problems in general. But yeah, this is how you do it. You can also just punish easily like anything else, right? But now you know the weakness of this particular sequence. Now a little bit further, when you want to understand a little bit better, is you have to know what Dragunov players use to beat that. Let's say I sidestep left after this all the time, right? But Dragunov players use this move to beat that certain sequence as well. So when I was talking about offensive labbing, this is what I said. The Dragunov players knows how to beat your sidestep because he has labbed the situation offensively, not defensively. So he's using a different move to catch you, right? So this is what I mean. That it's important to understand both versions. Because right now, if you step left, it doesn't work. But if you step the other side, suddenly it works. Now it works. So it has two different weaknesses when it comes to direction. One is to the left and one is to the right. So this is just important to know. This is how you lap things in general. And that's why one of the best things, in my opinion, the best recommendations I have personally, is to go to your replays and check it there. Because you don't know what to lap at first, right? You don't know that after down, while running 2 of Dragon, I was like, when you block this, he might do a down forward 1 or a back 2 or whatever he does, right? You don't know that. So just go into your replays when you're playing against a Dragonov player, see what he did in that particular situation, especially if you got hit by it, and see how to deal with it, right? Okay, this is important when it comes to movement, and backdashes can also be good. Like, understand if a backdash can beat something. Sometimes it will. So use all kinds of movement to beat a certain sequence and see if it does work. For example, sidestep left, sidestep right, backdash. You can also try sidewalk left, sidewalk right. So yes, try all of this and maybe it will work. Now, next thing, this is also very important. There will be some situations where movement will not work, right? So this is also information. And this information means that you cannot use movement, so you have to try something else. Something else, so my recommendations is gonna be either a jab, down jab, power crush, or a parry, right? So there are some situations when that just doesn't work. Like, movement just doesn't work, get hit by every situation. Maybe they're using a tracking move, maybe they're 2+, whatever, right? There's gonna be a lot of situations there, and it just doesn't work. So let me just demonstrate a situation like that. Let me just demonstrate it. For example, right? When a Dragonov player does something like this, I did not record it. Amazing. This sequence, right? And you try to step out of it, most likely you will not be able to step here that easily, right? You try to understand, okay, I have to step this way, step that way, and it just doesn't work. It means that the gap in this sequence is not a movement gap, but a button gap, right? So sometimes the movement won't help, but buttons will. So as I said, in these situations, check button like a down jab, check button like a jab if you're not crouching. Like, after down 2 you are crouching, so you can't really jab, right? Unless you do that, whatever, right? So that, try power crushes if you can as well. It will work against moves that are not low, and you can also try parries in certain situations, right? This is just one example, but there are a lot of moves in this game when you just can't do anything about. And if you don't want to get mixed up, sometimes you have to press a button. Sometimes you just have to do it. One of the best buttons, as I said, is a jab, either of these ones. If you're crouching, you can also do a while standing 4. So basically your fastest buttons. Next is power crush, and then a parry. When I say power crush, heat burst is included. This is a power crush, obviously, right? So if you want to understand how to beat something, this is how you do it. You have to test it yourself. This is just how it is. It's you can't escape it, and you have to do it move by move basis if you want to be consistent and what's it called? Basically, what you want to do is know when to do it. You can't randomly do it, is what I wanted to say. I just couldn't think of a word for it. You don't want to randomly do it. You want to do it on purpose, basically, right? If you randomly do it, you will get hit by stuff like this. And you don't even know, okay, I'm sidestepping to this side, but it doesn't work. So this is why it's important. You have to understand how to lab a certain character's moves. And if you don't know their moves, the replay function is your best friend, because the moves are done for you. You don't know the button inputs. Like, you don't know what down forward 1 on Dragonov does, for example, or down 2. You don't know that. And a lot of people don't know every character in the game. Obviously, there are a lot of characters and a lot of moves. But yeah, this is a start. Now, second thing I also wanted to talk about is offensive labbing, right? I talked about it and explained it slightly when Dragonov did the move, but you can also do it yourself. Now, how to do it yourself? Now, if you want to do that stuff yourself, this is going to be your best friend. This function right here, action after a hit or block. And if you want to understand if your move is steppable or not, you have to put it in sidewalk left, sidewalk right is what I would recommend. You can also put sidestep left, sidestep right, and just experiment with these options. What this does, by the way, is after you hit them, let's say, they will start sidewalking, right? They will just start sidewalking. So if you want to understand the gap in your offense, let's say after Kazuya down back 4, I want to understand if something I usually do will get beaten by sidewalk left. For example, right? Oh, that gets beaten. Okay, let me try something else. Oh, that also gets beaten. Okay, let me try something else. Let me hell sweep. That gets beaten. Okay, let me try forward 4. That also gets beaten. Let me try something else. Right? This is what you would call offensive labbing, where you understand what to do to stop the other person, which is the defender, from moving as much. Usually in a particular direction, unless you use a homing move, but there are a lot of situations where you're for like, if you're 2+, where you can use other stuff as well. Now, when it comes to experimentation, for example, this into a homing move like down forward 2 will stop the sidewall, obviously, right? It's a homing move. Or even a homing move like back 4 will stop it, right? This is how you check for moves and how to beat stuff. And the less risk you take by doing this, usually it's better because you don't want to, take too much of a risk. For example, at back 2 here also gets beaten. Down forward 4 will also beat that. And the jab will also beat it if you're close enough anyway. If you're too far, sometimes it won't. Right? You have to experiment with this kind of stuff. I know because I just play a lot and I experiment a lot, but like jab will also beat that sidewalk left. But now you have to understand that if you try the sidewalk right option and you see the same options, let's say, right, this one, like the back 2, it's gonna be a little bit harder for you. Like some situations they will be able to step. I don't think it's a sidewalk, most likely a sidestep. Because this is why I said that experiment both ways, by the way. A sidestep right and sidewalk right have different properties. Don't ask me. Right, like a back 2 is good, even in this situation, for example. Right, he can't really sidestep it well. Amazing. Right now, you understand that back 2 is actually a great option here. But if you try down forward 4, oh, it gets stepped to the right. It's a little bit more risky. Right? So back 2 is amazing in this situation, and if you want to, just check, you use this move. Great. And if you want to see other situations, you just use other moves into whatever, and that's it. And your purpose here, by the way, is to stop the defender from feeling comfortable to whatever they are doing. Right? So they don't want to move. You don't want them to move as much. Especially if you play someone like us. He's pretty weak to sidestep left. You don't want them to move as much, so you just check them with back 2. You just check them with down forward 4. You check them with jabs. Usually these are your moves. You can also electric sometimes, right? Electrics are always important. If only I could electric. There we go. So, yeah. This sums it up more or less. It's not too complicated, but I didn't explain everything. Obviously, I'm trying to make it a little bit more simple. So, yeah, hopefully it was helpful. So, remember, defensive labbing, offensive labbing, 2 of these stuff is very important. There are 2 different ways to do it as well. I already explained them. So, yeah, once again, hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Till then.